In 2004, Gena Rowlands played a woman slowly forgetting the love of her life in The Notebook. 20 years later, her own son had to confirm the unthinkable: she was living that exact disease, for real. Tonight, her story closes out a list of 15 legends, a president, a prime minister, even a Star Trek icon, all taken down by the same disease. Stick with me, because her story is the one that will stay with you the longest. She played a woman losing her memory to Alzheimer's on screen, 2 decades before she was diagnosed with the real thing herself. That's not a coincidence you can shake off easily. Alzheimer's didn't just take memories from ordinary people. It took some of the sharpest minds and biggest names in entertainment history: a president, a prime minister, a Bond villain-level soap star, even a Star Trek legend. Stick around, because the story that closes this list will genuinely stop you in your tracks. Legend number 1, Ronald Reagan. From playing George Jip and delivering "Win One for the Jipper," to becoming the 40th President of the United States, Reagan's path was singular. In November 1994, 5 years after leaving office, he wrote a handwritten letter telling the world he had Alzheimer's. That single letter reshaped public understanding of the disease overnight. He died in June 2004, at 93, after a decade-long battle. Sometimes the most powerful performance is the one that isn't scripted at all. Legend number 2, Dame Barbara Windsor. Get out of my pub. Barbara Windsor's Peggy Mitchell was pure force, but before EastEnders, she'd already spent a decade lighting up the Carry-On films. Diagnosed in 2014, she and husband Scott Mitchell kept it private for 4 years before speaking out in 2018. What followed was remarkable: campaigns, meetings with politicians, real policy conversations about dementia funding. She died in December 2020, at 83. A woman who spent her life making Britain laugh spent her final years making Britain listen. Legend number 3, Charlton Heston. Judah Ben-Hur. Moses in the 10 Commandments. Few actors filled a screen the way Heston did. In August 2002, he stood in front of cameras and said plainly that he was experiencing symptoms of Alzheimer's, reading from notes his daughter helped him prepare. It was one of the most human moments of his career. He died in April 2008, at 84. The man who played legends chose, at the end, to just be honest. 3 legends down. But the biggest names, and the story I promised you, are still ahead. Legend number 4, Peter Falk. Columbo's "Just One More Thing" became one of TV's most iconic catchphrases, running from 1968 to 2003. Off-screen, Falk's Alzheimer's diagnosis triggered a painful family legal battle over his care, one that led directly to California legislation protecting incapacitated people's rights to see close family. He died in June 2011, at 83. A character built on quietly outsmarting everyone left behind a very real, very public legacy. Legend number 5, Iris Murdoch. 26 novels. A Booker Prize for The Sea. A mind so sharp it seemed permanent. Then, in the mid-1990s, her husband John Bailey began noticing something wrong: confusion, an inability to write. His memoir, Iris, later became a 2001 film starring Judi Dench and Kate Winslet. Murdoch died in February 1999. Her story didn't just document a diagnosis, it taught an entire generation what it looks like to lose someone slowly, while they're still right beside you. Legend number 6, Prunella Scales. Sybil Fawlty wasn't just a role, it was comic perfection opposite John Cleese. Diagnosed with vascular dementia in 2013, Prunella Scales didn't disappear from public life. She and her husband, actor Timothy West, kept appearing together on Great Canal Journeys, cameras capturing him gently guiding her through moments of confusion. It remains one of British television's most honest portrayals of dementia. She passed away in 2025, just months after West himself died, a 60-year partnership that never let go. Legend number 7, Charles Bronson. Tough, quiet, unmistakable, Bronson built a career on Death Wish and The Magnificent Seven without ever needing a big speech to hold the screen. Life had made him tough long before Hollywood did. In his final years he faced Alzheimer's alongside pneumonia, dying in August 2003, at 81, years after losing his wife, actress Jill Ireland, to cancer. His hardest fight, fittingly, was the one nobody saw. 7 stories in. But what's coming next might be the most powerful one yet. Legend number 8, James Doohan. Give her all she's got, Captain. James Doohan's Scotty became one of sci-fi's most beloved characters after Star Trek began in 1966. Doohan had served in World War II and was wounded on D-Day. Later in life, he faced both Parkinson's and Alzheimer's together. He died in July 2005, at 85. Afterward, his ashes were launched into space, a fitting send-off for a man who spent his career exploring the universe on screen. Legend number 9, Harold Wilson. He wasn't an actor, but few public figures performed under pressure quite like Harold Wilson, twice Britain's Prime Minister through the turbulent 60s and 70s. Known for a razor-sharp memory and wit, his decline from Alzheimer's after leaving office felt especially cruel. He died in May 1995, at 78. A man once famous for never forgetting anything became living proof that this disease spares no one, not intelligence, not power, not legacy. If a story like Harold's has moved you, this is exactly the kind of history worth remembering together. Hit subscribe, so you don't miss the names still coming. Legend number 10, Glen Campbell. A country legend with hits like Rhinestone Cowboy, Glen Campbell also held his own on-screen in True Grit alongside John Wayne. In June 2011, he announced his Alzheimer's diagnosis, then did something unexpected, he toured. Documented in Glen Campbell, I'll Be Me, released in 2014, audiences watched him forget lyrics mid-song and keep playing anyway. He released his final album, Adios, in 2017, and died that August, at 81. He didn't just face the disease. He sang straight through it. Legend number 11, Eddie Albert. Before Green Acres made him a sitcom staple, Eddie Albert earned an Oscar nomination for Roman Holiday, alongside Audrey Hepburn. He was also a genuine World War II hero, awarded a Bronze Star at Tarawa. Alzheimer's took hold late in life, and he died in May 2005, at 99, one of the longest lives on this list. His son, actor Edward Albert, died just months later. Almost there. The final names carry the heaviest weight of this entire list, including the one from the very beginning. Legend number 12, Burgess Meredith. Mickey in Rocky. The Penguin in the campy 60s Batman. Burgess Meredith's range ran from Broadway drama to comic book villainy across 6 decades. Alzheimer's caught up with him in his later years, and he died in September 1997, at 89. Few careers prove how far one actor can stretch, his did. Legend number 13, Tony Booth. Before he was famous for anything else, Tony Booth was Mike Rawlins on Till Death Us Do Part, sparring with his bigoted on-screen father-in-law in one of British TV's boldest social comedies. Off-screen, he was a lifelong Labour campaigner, and later, father-in-law to Tony Blair. Alzheimer's took hold in his later years, and he passed in September 2017, aged 85. A man who never played it safe on screen didn't get to choose how his own story ended. Legend number 14, Gena Rowlands. Here it is. In 2004's The Notebook, Gena Rowlands played an elderly woman with Alzheimer's, read to daily by her devoted husband, one of the most tender performances of her career. 2 decades later, in 2024, her son Nick Cassavetes confirmed she had been living with Alzheimer's herself for years. She died that August, at 94. She didn't just act out this disease. She lived it, on a delay nobody could have predicted. Legend number 15, Rita Hayworth. One of Hollywood's defining faces of the 1940s, Rita Hayworth's image was reportedly placed on the atomic device tested at Bikini Atoll in 1946, something she found deeply upsetting. By the early 1980s, those around her noticed troubling changes, at first dismissed by some press as drinking. In 1980, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, in her early 60s, making her one of the earliest widely known early-onset cases. Her daughter, Princess Yasmin Aga Khan, became a leading Alzheimer's advocate afterward. Rita died in May 1987, at 68. She wasn't just a movie star. She was the moment the world started paying attention. 15 legends. 1 disease. Actors, a president, a prime minister, a novelist, proof that no amount of talent, fame, or sharpness of mind offers protection. Their families spoke up so the rest of us would understand what this disease actually costs. If these stories matter to you, subscribe and share this one. It's how more people find it, and how these names keep being remembered instead of forgotten.